Kennedy, let's just jump on in.
Okay.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about what happened this week?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it just always happens. So it's just like the same as always. But basically, I had asked Michael repeatedly if like, hey, you're staying home today. If before I come home from work, I work 10 hours. Would you be able to just like vacuum, clean up, like do some of the stuff? I usually do it. And I was just like feeling really overwhelmed right now with like work and school. And I come home and like none of it is done. It's like, it's I don't know, it's just like the same every single time. So it just feels annoying. I don't know, like it's just the same. So and then we get in a fight and it's just, I don't know. I try to talk to him about it and it's just like nothing really changes.
So you're feeling a lot of frustration?
Yeah.
Anger?
Yeah, just I like resigned too, like yeah. Anger, resigned anger maybe. Yeah.
I can even tell looking at you, like you seem a little bit more tense. Just bringing that up too.
Yeah, I guess I am. I'm just feeling like done with it.
So, we talked last week about how we have our primary emotions and our secondary emotions, right?
Mm.
So for you, your primary emotions, the ones that were showing up, your secondary emotions, the one that were showing up were like the frustration and anger, right?
Yeah.
What do you feel like is underneath that? What do you think is
like the
more
primary
connected? Yeah, the primary.
I feel like I'm trying to think of a way to say that, like not.
Do you want to look at this emotions wheel? Maybe that will give you some ideas.
These are the primary?
So there's going to be some primary and some secondary on there, but
okay.
Maybe looking at that could kind of give you a better sense of maybe something deeper.
Yeah, I think disappointed. Neglected maybe.
I remember you talking too about how chores were pretty contentious in your house growing up, right? Like your mom and dad.
Yeah.
Because you remind me, you said that your mom did all of the household stuff, right?
Yeah, my mom did a lot of the household, like a lot. It seemed like all the household stuff, and especially like I don't know. Yeah, growing up, it was just kind of expected of her to do that, and my dad just didn't really help in any way. So, I like when my mom left, like when she moved out during my parents' divorce, like my dad didn't pick up any of that slack, and it was left to to me a lot, and it just feels annoying that I'm in the same cycle that I didn't expect to be in at all.
Yeah.
So
that burden is once again being placed on you.
Yeah, that's what I feel like, and yeah, I just feel it feels bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael, I'm curious what you're feeling hearing Kennedy talk about this.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily fair. I work from home. It's not like I wasn't doing anything. So when you're saying that, it makes me sound like I'm super lazy, but I'm not. I work all day, and then I want to have like a second after my shift just to chill for a second. Just because I'm working remote doesn't mean I'm not working. So I'm gonna get it done. Like that's the thing, is I'll do it. I just need to do it on my own schedule after I've had a second.
I mean, but you work from you talked about how many breaks you have, and you talked about how chill things can be. Like, I don't know.
But but it's a break from work. That's what you're supposed to do, is just like take a second. That's the point. I'm like getting water, or I'm getting a meal, or something like that. Like it's just part of that's what you do when you're at work. I'm not like gonna go on a break and be like, oh, sweet, like this, I should vacuum my whole house right now. That just seems, I don't know.
But it doesn't matter because but I asked for it, like your wife asked for it, so like.
But I'm at work.
And this is like the theme we keep doing. Like,
yeah,
over and over.
I'm sensing the contention coming up.
And it's like hard for like him. I don't know.
I feel like it doesn't matter if I do it or not. I'm gonna get punished either way. So what's the point?
So for you, you'd rather avoid the situation than confront it?
This is just we're gonna fight.
What do you mean punished either way?
If I do it, you're not gonna like how I do it. If I don't do it, you're gonna get mad at me for not doing it.
When has that been true? Like,
that's been true.
I don't see how that's true.
You don't like when I do it. You don't like how I do it. It's just it comes up like every time.
Okay, let's pause here for a second. I can tell that there's a lot of tension, right? I can feel it from the two of you, right? I want us to practice not on only talking about what the problem is, but how we experience the problem and how we talk about it with each other, okay?
Okay.
And so when each of you say something, I want you to practice repeating back what the person said before you move on to your point, right? So maybe let's rewind and start with Kennedy.
Okay.
So Kennedy, can you tell me again what the problem is?
The problem is that I feel that I take on a lot, and especially with the household stuff. And I would like to feel that especially when I ask for things to be done, that I could be made like a priority. Like that would be like valued or honored. And it feels bad when I come home and it's not done.
And remind us about why that's so difficult for you. Why this is something that's so important to you. Emotionally.
Like talking about like growing up and stuff like that. Just because growing up, it's what I saw. Like my mom did everything and she wasn't seemingly like valued by my dad, and so when she left, it was just like another thing that needed to be filled, and I was the person who had to carry all of that. And it's just like this cycle, and it felt really bad then, and it feels really bad now to see like I'm in that same cycle, seemingly.
Okay, Michael, can you try to summarize what Kennedy said before you move on to your sharing of emotions?
Kennedy said that she wants to feel like I'm prioritizing her, and she said that this is important because she felt like her dad didn't appreciate her mom, and that played a hand in them eventually splitting up. And she says that she wants to feel appreciated.
Great. And so with that in mind, right, with Kennedy's emotional needs in mind, how do you want to express your emotions to Kennedy about the situation?
I think I feel bad. I feel like I appreciate what you do. I think you do a lot. I feel like the work I do, both around the house and like even at my job, I don't feel like you respect it as a real thing that I need to do too. And I don't feel like you, like, even if I do it, I don't feel like it makes a difference, or I don't feel like it's appreciated.
So before Kennedy, you respond, I kind of want to explore that with you, Michael. You're saying that you feel unvalued, right? Is that what you said? I just want to make sure. You feel like she doesn't recognize the work you're putting in, right?
More. Yeah, maybe.
Sorry, would you say it a different way? Maybe I just didn't catch it well enough.
I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, we talked about this before, and I want to remind you again that we have our secondary emotions, the emotions that we see on the surface, and we have our more primary emotions, the ones that are fueling that. And so I'm curious to know if you think there's anything else under that that's more deep.
I think I feel fear.
And In what way?
I feel like every talk of chores feels like there's a looming threat of divorce sometimes. Just because I do know that that's where it goes back to for her. And I just would rather not fight because what if that brings up divorce?
So you're operating off of some fear there.
More or less.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Kennedy. I know that we kind of skipped around there, but do you feel like you can summarize what Michael said?
Yeah. It sounds like you feel like I don't appreciate or value what you do or the work that you do and don't see it as like hard work or real work. And so when I ask you to do these things, it feels like you also have responsibilities that I maybe don't see as like as real or like as valid. And then you just want to avoid the whole situation because you might have this like deeper seated fear of like it might mean like the end of our relationship.
You think that's true, Michael?
Yeah.
Okay. I think this is really great, this interacting we're having here, because what I'm learning from this is that you two both deeply care about each other and you want to make your relationship work. So much so that the reason you're fighting about this is because you're so fearful that it could end, right? And so I'm wondering, like, can you take this outside of the session? Would you feel comfortable trying this at home?
Like what we just did? Yeah.
I can try that.
You seem a little hesitant, Michael.
I can try it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to say too is that sometimes with these bigger issues like household chores, that can be, I don't know, sometimes it's good to start in the therapy office on some of these things that are a little bit bigger, but maybe with something smaller, right? Like maybe you're just talking about the dog not getting walked, right? Because it's really easy for this to escalate to all sorts of areas of your life, and that's when it can get out of control. So sometimes it's good to start small and then build up, right? Yeah, I think this is really good for helping me understand more about your relationship. Yeah, I'm curious to know what else you thought about that interaction in that process. Like, what are your thoughts now that we've gone through that?
I guess I just like I didn't know that there's a fear around that. Like I didn't know that. So I thought that was interesting and like I don't know. I guess it makes sense like what you're saying of like feeling like I do value your work. And I guess I can start to see what you're saying about that. I guess we're both just feeling like underappreciated.
Yeah. I think for me, I can have a tendency just to pull back a bit. And just because I really hate fighting. I don't want to fight. But I think having to say how you're feeling does put it more in perspective a bit.
Adds a lot more context, right?
Yeah. Because I don't think it's about the fight. I think it's just you're also just feeling undervalued, underappreciated.
I mean, I also would like you to do household chores now, but
I can do household chores.
This is unrelated to this, but there is a great book called Fair Play that I will hand to you now and talk to you about it. The end.
Nice.
Actually, I probably wouldn't talk about it now. But, we'd be working towards that, right?